Hello, everybody. We are in week 10. So this should look like it normally looks for you when you go into Play-Doh and you go into the week by week. And you're usually going in there and you're getting your lecture slides for the week. Well, now everything is going to be in here. And I just want to say, first of all, thank you for everyone for being patient during this time. I know none of you signed up for an online class, so this is all very new. So we're going to just get through this together. And what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to do a podcast like this each week that will run through the sort of to-do list for the week, as well as go over the general objectives that I want you to understand for the chapter that we're on. This is going to be your only podcast. I really didn't want you guys having to listen to a million different podcasts. I wanted to streamline this and make it easy. So that's going to be your instruction piece. Other than that, you're going to have lecture slides. These ones right here are interactive. So when you go in there, if you click into that PowerPoint and you play it as a slideshow, it will be interactive with you. So it will walk you through the slides. There's videos you can click on and watch that are embedded in the slides and that go along with the concepts that are being taught on those lecture slides. So for this week, you have the original ones I gave you before the break, and then you have these ones that are put out by the publisher of the text. So they go along really nicely with the textbook, which, to be honest, is going to be your main form of instruction. You're going to be doing a lot of reading now and taking in that content in that fashion. So that's what you should know there. I'm also posting a couple other videos that go along with the Chapter 8 material there, just like I normally would. These are those crash course videos that I've been posting in previous weeks. Here's your Hawk reading. So just like normal, you're answering the questions. This week it goes along with reading 5.3. But then when you're ready to submit your answers, you're just going to click in here, and this is an assignment button all set up so that you can do your assignment right there. If you want to do it on a Word document first, that's probably good, so you have that saved, and then you can just cut and paste it right into this assignment tab. The assignment's due Wednesday. However, if anyone's having trouble with that, or needs an extension, please just let me know. Shoot me an email, and I'll be happy to try to accommodate individual needs there. Okay, so that's your assignment, the videos, the lecture slides. I'm still working on your next exam. I'm hoping that that will be up and ready to go either at the end of this week or the beginning of next week. The exam's not going to cover Chapter 3 because we're not covering Chapter 3 now. We're going to cut that out. So likely your exam will just be covering this chapter, Chapter 8, as well as the next content, which I believe is Chapter 10 for you guys. So just stay tuned for that exam. I'll have more information posted on it later this week. I did post your exam 2 results, so if you remember, you guys took that exam right before the break. I've posted all of those to the My Grades that you're going to see in Play-Doh. So if you go up to the right, it's right here. You can click in there, and you're going to see your score posted there for that. I'm going to do this, it'll be automatic when you take a test now. You'll be testing online, you'll have a test option, you'll be taking your tests online. There'll be more to come on that and what that's going to look like, but those grades will always be automatic. They'll go straight to your My Grades so you can see how you did. However, as you know, we had, probably 2/3 of the semester underway where the My Grades did not keep track of any of that. That's in my own personal grade book. So just know that the My Grades here is not a current reflection of your current grade. So if you go in there, you can see everything you've done online, but anything that we did prior to that is not going to be in there. So if you want to gauge how you're doing in the class, I'd suggest you email me and I can tally your grade and I can let you know kind of where you stand. So just don't use this My Grades as a current kind of demonstration of how you're doing in the class. Okay, so everything is here. Your research papers, I gave you guys a little extra time. I gave you another week extension, so those are due Monday the 23rd, and I would like you to email those to me and email them in a Word document. You might need some help figuring out how to do that, but a PDF isn't going to work as good because I can't comment back to you in a PDF. So if you can give me those papers via Word document, I can do track changes and I can write comments on your actual Word document, and then I can email that right back to you. That way you'll have my feedback for that rough draft, and you'll be able to incorporate that feedback into your final draft. So get those in, give me some time, okay? It's going to take me at least that week to get through all those rough drafts and give you comments and feedbacks. But my goal is to try to do that for the following week for you guys. That's going to be our only element of that final paper. We're not going to be doing the poster sessions, obviously, because Kirka has been canceled. So it streamlines things a little bit. You guys can give all your attention to the paper and not have to worry about dividing your attention between the presentation now and the paper. That being said, you're all doing individual papers, so there is no partner work, okay? The partner work was only supposed to be for the poster, and now that we're not doing the poster, you're not doing anything with a partner. So your papers are still your own, and we'll be looking at that in coming weeks just as that final draft due date is approaching. We'll have more discussion about that. So that's the plan for this week so far. In future weeks, I may put some discussion board questions up just to engage you guys and get you talking. I haven't yet decided what I'm going to do with that yet, but stay tuned for next week. I might put something in like that. In terms of Chapter 8, we didn't get a chance to really dive into this, but here's the overview. All of these objectives flow right off the chapter, okay? So they go really nicely with the chapter. In fact, each one of these is embedded in the chapter. As you're reading, you'll see that it's sort of like a subheader throughout the chapter. So it really is a good way of keeping track and making sure you're not missing anything. As we go through Chapter 8, these are the elements that I'm wanting you guys to know. Okay, so let's just briefly go over these. You're going to want to compare and contrast the different research methods used to study development. So developmental psychology is a particular domain in psychology that studies development over the lifespan. We use particular methods to do that, like longitudinal study designs, correlational designs, cross-sectional designs, and so all of that is discussed in that first section. Those are the designs I want you to be familiar with. You'll be looking at the relationship between heredity and environmental factors. This is sort of the nature-nurture debate in determining development. What factors in plays a role in our developmental journey. There's heredity components and genetics, and then there's environmental factors, how you're raised, what kind of environment you grow up in, your education, your socioeconomic status, your nutritional level, and just so many other factors that it's going to discuss pretty much throughout the chapter. And it does get a little bit more into the role of chromosomes and genes in determining the transition or transmission, I should say, of traits and the inheritance of certain disorders. So when we start talking later on about psychological disorders, you'll see how some of this comes back up then in what types of disorders are inherited, like depression, like anxiety, schizophrenia, just to name a few. Some of those are very genetic, although they do have an environmental component. It's going to walk you through pretty much birth to old age, way down here. Okay, so everything from fertilization, twin studies, prenatal development, the different physical and sensory changes that take place in infancy and childhood, And that kind of sets the stage. And then once that's completed, you're going to then get into different theories on how we develop. So cognitive development, how does our brain develop over time? What pivotal stages take place at different ages? So this is very much a stage theory that we develop in particular stages and phases during our development. There's a little bit of talk about autism spectrum disorder here and how cognitive development is affected early in life in individuals that have autism. We'll also take a look at personality, relationships, and self-concept, and how those are developed early in infancy and childhood, and how that then transfers onto relationships later in life. Then it gets into adolescent development, where we talk about puberty, cognitive and moral advances in adolescence, and the moral element is part of your Hawk reading. So the Hawk reading was dealing with Kohlberg's stages of morality. How do we develop a sense of morality? What does that look like depending upon your age? And you'll see that at different ages, we focus on different aspects, okay? So when we're young, we focus more on what our parents say is right and wrong, and everything's very concrete. Everything's very black and white, but as we grow and we develop formal operations, we start to think more about the gray areas, and we start to think more about why is it right or wrong? What does the law say? What does society say? What do I think? And so it develops much more so in adolescence. Adolescence also focuses more on influences in relationships with others, peer development, as well as the different physical changes that one goes through adolescence. And then, so you're going to deal a lot in here with Piaget in his stages of cognitive development. He was one of the big theorists there. And so you want to know those concrete stages that he has, formal operations, concrete operations that specify and dictate what happens during a particular age of cognitive development. And then we get into Erikson's theories of psychosocial development. So this is how are we relating to others in our lives during the different phases of our lives. When you're a child, your relationship with others doesn't look the same as an adolescent or a middle-aged man. So each comes with its own unique sets of characteristics and traits, as well as challenges and hurdles that need to be successfully navigated, Erikson would say, in order for you to go on to the next phase appropriately. Like if you don't develop a good sense of attachment with your parents as a child, you're going to have problems attaching to others as an adolescent and making friends, and then maybe later in romantic relationships, in choosing a spouse or a partner. And so all of it really builds upon one another. So you'll be looking at those different theories, and then the book sort of completes with the end of life, looking at death and dying, looking at cross-cultural differences in how we view death and the stages of dying, hospice care, and some of that is talked about there, as well as the different periods that we go through later in life in grappling with big life changes, like kids being out of the house, jobs ending, going into retirement. How does that tend to affect individuals? What are some typical responses? What factors play a role? So you'll be looking at all of those. So that's sort of development in a nutshell. Honestly, if you were to take this, it wouldn't be one class. It would be split into 3. We would see childhood development as one whole semester class, adolescent development as another, and then adult development and aging as another. So you're getting essentially 3 semesters of a class in one chapter. So it is a lot. Just digest it in segments and use these objectives to really zone in on what is important. Follow the lecture slides and you should be good to go. If you have any questions going forward for this week with changes or technology or anything, please feel free to shoot me an email and I'll do my best to respond as soon as I can. Thanks, everyone.